Today we're going to implement authentication with JWT or JSON Web Tokens. And to tell you about JSON Web Tokens, I need to tell you about the traditional approach, which uses cookies and sessions. So you see this diagram here. I have two diagrams. One is describing the traditional approach, and the other one, which is implementing the JSON Web Tokens. Okay, so basically the process begins when the user logs in with username and password. So you go to your browser and open, let's say, Amazon or Twitter or any website that has login and password, and you submit to the server. In this case, the server stores a session in the database and responds by sending a session ID to your client computer. More specifically, it hands it over to your browser. So inside your browser here, this session ID is saved in a cookie or cookie jar, and the cookie is just a text file saved in your local storage in the browser in the form of a key value pair. And this cookie will be sent back to the server for every subsequent request, and the server will respond to that corresponding request if you're currently logged in. In other words, this is called a stateful protocol between the front-end client and the back-end server. And there are two protocols, stateful and stateless. A stateful protocol which saves everything in the back end, but a stateless protocol saves everything on the client side. So this approach is good, but it lacks some security measures, so the attacker can point you very easy to a site that you're already logged in, because you're already logged in on the server, okay? So you can be directed to some sort of payment website to implement some payments, to change your password, or to change your secret question. And the bigger problem is that you need to store your session ID in a database or on the server in the backend. And here comes the role of the JWT or the JSON Web Tokens. So let's go ahead to the other side. So the process begins the same way. Okay, the user or you submit the login form to the server, but instead of storing a session in the database and responding with a session ID, the server actually creates a JWT or a JSON Web Token. And you can think of it as a private key. And the server sends this JWT or the key with no sessions, as you can see here, to your client computer. And it will be kept in your local storage in the browser. So on future requests, the JWT will be added to the authorization header prefixed by the bearer of the token. And the server only needs to just validate what we call the signature. And I'll show you that in a second. But nothing is stored actually in the server, like in the session scenario. And in sessions, the authentication state is handled on the server, right? While the JWT or the JSON Web Tokens are managed on the client, like we said. So this is the most important thing to memorize. All right, so if you'll go ahead and type jwt.io, then you'll find a note that's saying that the JSON Web Tokens are an open industry standard RFC 7519 method for representing claims securely between two parties. So the main goal of the JWT is to secure connection between two parties, all right? And we'll scroll down here. You'll find that, take a look here, the algorithm is HS256. This is for password hashing. And you have encoded token and decoded token. So this is the private key or the JSON Web Token that you're receiving. And you find that it's divided into three colors: red, purple, and this light blue. Okay, and each section is separated by a dot. And if you take a look to the decoded token, you will find that the red part represents the header. Okay, so the algorithm is the HS256 type JWT. Okay, and it's JSON format, of course. And then you have the payload, which is the actual data. So if you have data about some clients, for example, you have the name, the address, the email, the phone number, and so on. Okay, this is the payload. And for JWT to verify that this is a valid token, it needs to validate it by a signature. And in the signature, you will have your secret key. You will put it here, and then this will be signature verified. Okay, and I will show you that later. Alright, so let's go ahead to our Visual Studio Code and start coding. Okay, so let's create app.py. and I will need various dependencies. Flask class, need request, JSONify, make response. I also need render template because we're going to create a form. Need session. Okay, this is from Flask. I also need to import JWT. And I want from datetime to import datetime and time delta, because we're going to set expiration time for our token. And from functools, I want to import wrap or wraps. Okay, let's instantiate the Flask class. We're creating app object. Okay, and we need a secret key, so app.config. We need the secret key, and this is very important and very dangerous. You need to have a very good secret key. So I will show you a couple of methods to have a secure secret key. So let's go to Python. So the first approach, or the first method, is to import the OS module, and you say os.urandom to get random characters, and we can say 12 for instance. Okay, so this is this, you can use it as your secret key. There's another method to import UUID, and it's an external package, so you will need to pip install UUID, or UUID4 maybe, I don't really remember. So UUID.UUID4 k.hex, and you get also good a very good secret key. If you repeat that, you will get different. If you repeat that, you will get different. Okay, let me show you a third approach. We can import secrets, and this comes with Python Python 3.6 plus. So if your Python is less than 3.6, it won't work. Okay, and you'll say secrets dot token underscore URL safe, and also you can pass a number of characters. Okay, so these are the three approaches that you can use to get a secure secret key. Okay, I will take this one. All right, copy that and a string, pass it in. Okay, so let's create our first route, which is the home route, or the welcome route. And I'll create a function called home. And here basically I want to say if I'm not logged in, I want to render a template or redirect to a page called login, which is our login form. Else I will say that logged in currently, because else I will be inside the page or logged in. So if not session.get logged in, I want to return render template, and the page I will call it login.html. Else I want to return logged in currently. Alright, and let's go ahead and create folder templates. Login.html. Alright. And let's create the form quickly. So login, and inside the body I want a form, and the action is the login URL, and let's have a method of post. Okay, because we want to post that the information, username and password. So I will have two inputs. One will be for username with the name of username as well. All right, let's placeholder username. Okay, and let's have two breaks. All right, and similarly for the password. Okay, and also I need a submit button. So I have submit with a value of login. Okay, and this is our form. All right, let's get back to app.py. I want to enter my name and password. And once I do that, I will have a token. This token means that I'm logged in via the JWT, not a cookie. And we will verify that by taking that cookie in the URL, and we'll have just a message telling us that access granted or JWT verified or anything, just to prove that we are logged in currently. So let's have another route, and this will be for the login. So login and methods. I need only post. Okay, so you have this one and this one, and in the login so what I want to do is I want to verify the username and the password, and if they're true, I want to be logged in. Okay, so let's do that. If request dot form, and here I need the username, and request dot password dot form password. Okay, and I will set a simple password, 123456. If this is true, then session, and I want logged in, and I will set that to true. Okay, so here I want to encode the token for the user. So the token will be equal to JWT dot encode. So we have encode and decode. So it takes a form of dictionary. So we'll have user, and I will set also expiration. So the user is going to be equal to request.form, and I want the username, and I want to set expiration because we want that JWT or the token to expire after some time, and this is for security reasons. All right, and we'll say datetime dot UTC now. All right, oops, plus the time delta, and let's say how many seconds. Let's say, for instance, 120 seconds. Okay, 2 minutes. All right, and you will need to wrap all that in stir function. All right, and also I will need the secret key. So app.config, and here is the secret key which we have set above. All right, so secret key, and we will return the token. So return let's say token, and we'll take the token and decode UTF-8. All right, and we want to wrap all that in JSONify. Okay, to return a JSON string. Okay, so far so good. So if all that, we will return the token Okay, and let's indent that actually properly. All right. Else, so if all that is true, we will return the token. Else, we will return. I could have actually wrapped that in try except, and actually there are a lot of exceptions to be handled by the try except in JWT, and I invite you to take a look at that. But let's keep it just simple, and let's make response enable to verify, and we will and let me return unauthorized 403. And we'll say www authenticate. This is in the header. Okay, and this goes as this basic realm authentication, for instance, failed. All right, forget a comma. Okay, so we have the login all is set. We have the route, the main route is set, but there is the most important thing, which is the token itself. So let's put it above here. So I will create a function called token required, and inside here I will pass a func or function, and here I will create something called a decorator factory. Okay, add traps, and this takes the func. So this add traps right here, it's it basically returns a decorator which invokes a method called update_wrapper. Below I will create another function. So this function, I will call it decorated, and it takes positional arguments and also keyword arguments. And this function is considered as an argument for that update wrapper method that it gets invoked by wraps. Okay. So yeah, I know it's a bit confusing, but if you will actually come here, and you will find everything explained. So the wraps returns a decorator which invokes update wrapper with the decorated function, okay, which we have created here. So what I want to do now is I want to have a token or build a token. So this token is going to be equal to request.args.get, and we will get the token. Okay, and if not token, I want to also have a message, so I will return this is a JSON or a dictionary, and we will convert it to JSON. So let's do it. JSON in here will alert, and the value will say token is missing. Okay, not JSON. Just JSONify. Okay, so the JSON web token is going to be passed in the request header, and the best part of the JWT or the JWT is it lets you store the token on the client side or in your computer actually. Okay, nothing on the server. Then I want to have data, or let's actually call it payload. Okay, so this is the payload or the data, and I will take the JWT token and I will decode it, and we have a couple of arguments, or well, actually we have more than 2 arguments, but these are the most important. So we have the encoded token and the secret key. So we have the token and app.config secret key. All right, well, actually let me wrap that in try except. All right, and we will return a message also. Let's wrap it in JSONify, and here we'll say alert invalid token. Okay, so here the token will be missing. All right, here the token will be missing. Here in this part, when we're going to decode the token itself, if anything goes wrong here, we will raise an not raise an exception. Well, we will return this message: alert invalid token. Okay, and let's return decorated. Okay. All right. So let's also create. Let me actually create another route. So we'll call that public. Okay, so I'll create that real quick. Public, and we will return, let's say, for public. Okay, and also for authorized person, so app.route, and here we'll say authenticated or auth. Okay, and here I will need the token because it's the verification. All right, so we'll need to put that as a decorator here. So we'll say add token required. Okay. So let me add comment here for public, for authenticated. Okay. And let's actually have the function auth, and we will return a message saying that the JWT is verified. Welcome to your dashboard, for example. All right, and this is the login route. This is for the login. All right, so yeah, we're all good. This is for home. Okay, so let's give it a go. Let's actually open the terminal and Python app.py. All right, so let's open the browser, and we have our form. So if we'll say Deacon St. John or Deacon and 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so username and password, and click on login, and ignore that. We'll worry about that later. It's just telling you that you have a very weak password, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so this is the actual JWT token. Okay, if you will take that, you'll copy this. Let's go to JWT.io. And if you will take a look here on the encode and encoded side and decoded side. So if you will paste that here, and you will find that user Deacon and expiration, well, in 2 minutes. Okay, we set it to 120 seconds. And this is invalid signature. And to make it valid, you will need actually to go to your code and take your secret key. Let's close that. And your secret key, if you will take this, you'll copy it, go to the site, and you will paste it here. Immediately you get signature verified. All right. All right, so this is JWT authentication, and you can see that there is a big difference between sessions and cookies and a token. Okay, a token is basically on your local machine, on your browser, on the client side, and nothing on the server like in sessions and cookies. Okay. All right, so thank you very much guys for watching, and I will see you in the next videos.